I'm going to hit record so we can add this onto our website later, and you are more than welcome to visit it when we do have that on. So just to introduce our guest speaker today, Stephen Key is the world's leading expert in licensing consumer products. He has achieved repeated success as an independent inventor, including defending his intellectual property against Lego Inc., one of the largest toy companies in the world, in federal court. The innovative packaging solution he brought to market is protected by more than 20 patents and received 15 industry awards, including 2 Edison Awards. So we are in the presence of greatness today. So I am introducing Stephen Key, and thank you everyone for joining today.
Wow, this is great. Thank you for attending. Hi, everybody. This is Stephen Key, and I'm going to talk about a great process of how you can bring your ideas to market through the licensing business model. We have 1 hour. Is that correct? 1 hour. I'm going to go through a lot of slides. And if you have any questions, please put those in the chat box. So the topic tonight is how to commercialize an idea without starting a business, because I know a lot of you are very creative, but starting a business is maybe something you don't want to do. Okay, before we start, first of all, I'm a patent holder of over 24 patents. I've won a few awards along the way. I do write for Forbes, Inc., and Entrepreneur, Course 77, and All Business. Also, I'm a Limbelson Ambassador, AAAS, back in 2018, co-founder of InventRight and some other things as well. So let's move past all that. I want to talk a little bit about how I got started. Wow, looking back, I was a freshman at the University of Santa Clara. I was studying business, and I realized very quickly that I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. So I took an art class by mistake, and I found that I absolutely love working with my hands. In fact, so much I went home and I told my dad, I said, hey, look, I want to be an artist. And I want to drop out of school and go over to San Jose State University. He said, wow, you must like to paint. And I said, well, no. And he said, well, you must like to draw. And I said, no. And he said, okay, go ahead, jump off that cliff. And that's exactly what I did. I went over to San Jose State University and started to study art. You see, I found by working with my hands, I just fell in love with that creative process. And that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I was at San Jose State for a few years, and I ended up thinking, I'm not going to be a fine artist. I think that's going to be really difficult. And I realized that business is something I wasn't really wild about, but maybe if I combine the two things, by making things and selling them, I was combining the two things to make a living. And so I started my journey of being an entrepreneur, selling things on street corners and county fairs and state fairs, wherever I can set up a booth to sell the things I was making. And at the time I was making little stuffed animals out of nylons. It was soft sculpture. It was easy to do. As you can tell, quite a crowd would come around and purchase some of the things that I'd made. I learned a lot. I want to stop for a minute. I did learn a lot about selling things on street corners. Number one, I learned that you had to have a product that people wanted very quickly. And if you didn't, you couldn't pay the rent. So some of the things I learned by selling things on the street corner, I carried today. In fact, I still use today. You have to come up with an idea, test it real quick to make sure people want it. If not, you're not going to be able to pay your bills. It's as simple as that. So those were some of the really important things I learned by selling things on the street corners. I'm 27 years old. And guess what? I find my first job. It was at a company called Worlds of Wonder back in the late 80s. And I was manager of design at Worlds of Wonder, and we launched Teddy Ruxpin and laser tag. And I was so fortunate to be involved in this startup. You see, I was excited about the whole process, and I just wanted to do everything. So I raised my hand for everything I could possibly do there. And before you know it, I was over in the Far East. I lived over there for a long time. And I'm on the production line of Teddy Ruxpin. And I started to realize that my father told me something. He said, look, Steve, if you want to create great wealth, you have to find something that does not require your presence. And you have to find something that does not require your hands and something that has a multiplying effect. And I realized watching Teddy Ruxpin go down that production line that that inventor was not there. And he was making $1 million a month in royalties. And I was hooked. I finally figured it out, what my father was talking about. So I went home and I quit Worlds of Wonder and said, hey, I want to be that next guy coming up with a great idea. So I started just coming up with simple ideas and showing those to companies. And if they liked it, they would license or rent those ideas from me. And that was that business model that I saw the creator of Teddy Ruxpin doing. He licensed Teddy, the technology, to Worlds of Wonder, and was collecting royalties. And so I started coming up with simple ideas and just showing those ideas to companies. And if they liked it, they would pay me a royalty. Everything from toys to plush to back to school, the labels, even the Michael Jordan wall ball, all sorts of wacky, crazy things. And I loved it. It was easy for me to do it. And I was doing it in the creative capital world, Modesto, of all places. And I have to give a shout out because I know I'm here at UC Merced in the Central Valley. The business model of licensing is what we're going to talk about today, and how anybody can do it anywhere in the world, and how you can do it without starting a business. Because I'm one of those guys that really don't want to raise money or have employees or take that financial risk. I want to be an idea person, and I want to leverage the power of these big companies that are already in business and show them those ideas and let them do all the heavy lifting for me. And in actuality, they're working for me. That's the way I looked at it. So so one of my big ideas was a rotating label called Spinformation, and we sold over 500 million labels. It was on products such as Nescafe coffee in Japan, on water. There's a Twist and Chill from Disney, vitamins and things like that, even Jim Beam. The product I'm involved in now, because on some of the slides you saw, they were pretty silly ideas. They were just like the Michael Jordan wall ball, it was a basketball game, and maybe some funny guitar picks and some other stuff that's really kind of silly, kind of. But I am involved taking those same principles I'm going to talk about today of how you can take big ideas too. The project I'm involved now with some amazing inventors. I'm part of their team. They came up with a product that eliminates the plastic rings on beverages. Now, those plastic rings, as everybody knows, are terrible for the environment. They're terrible for animals. They're just horrible. So this technology is called Fishbone. You can go to fishbone.com, please do that, and take a look at this great technology. It's 100% biodegradable. It's great for the environment. And guess what? It's got great billboards. You can see the graphics there. This technology is launching. In fact, one of the large customers we have today that's selling all over the United States is Brita. Everybody knows Brita, by Brita Filters. They're coming out with their own water. They licensed it to a company. And this is a product you can see in the stores today. And it's a little bit more serious. That's what I like about it. What did Russ say? What's he? All right, what is licensing? Okay, everybody asked me, licensing, what do you mean? What does that mean? Licensing is basically where you're going to rent an idea to a company. And that company is going to take care of all the manufacturing, all the distribution, all the marketing, paying the bills, doing all the work that I don't particularly want to do. But they need ideas from us. And that's why this licensing business model is such a beautiful thing for creative people. So they do all the heavy lifting and you just rent an idea to them. It's called licensing. In exchange, they pay you a royalty. That sounds fair to me. Every time they sell one, they pay you a royalty. Now, I love that because it's almost like printing money. If they're selling enough products and you're not even there, it doesn't require your hands, doesn't require your presence, it has that multiplying effect because that machinery is running hopefully day and night producing your product, and you collect a royalty for every one they sell. Okay, venturing is the typical business model. And if you're in school or maybe you've graduated, but everybody's been taught that the traditional model of bringing a product to market is where I'm going to write a business plan, and I'm going to raise money, and I'm going to source the manufacturing and do all those things. That just takes a lot of work and time and money, and there's a lot of risk. And that's the typical business model. It's called venturing, and that's what they're teaching now. For some of us, that maybe that's what you want to do if you want to handle all the details. But what about people like me that have no desire to start a business? So the licensing business model is beautiful. See, right here, not for everybody, not for me. It takes time, money, and experience, and I don't have any of those things. So why would I want to go down that road? But there's other reasons too. One of the greatest thing about licensing is that it's the fastest way to bring a product to market today. And as everybody knows, it's hard to protect anything. You come up with a great idea, next thing you know, it's selling all over the world through Amazon or all the online sellers. So how do you get ahead of it? Well, if you license to a company that has great distribution, it's sell first, sell fast. It's the fastest way to get an idea out there. If you start a business, it could take years to start that business. And by the time you get that product to market, you're going to have some competition. So the one thing I like about licensing, when you license it to a big company with great distribution, it's out fast. So what is open innovation? Why do companies want to work with us? See, open innovation is really quite simple. Companies have a team of people behind them, maybe they're product developers, engineers, and they're coming up with new ideas. And that's traditionally how they've done it. So they've got 10 guys in the back room that are working all the time coming up with new ideas. Open innovation, that business model, is where companies realize maybe we don't have the smartest 10 guys in the back of the room. Why don't we open the doors so ideas can come from everybody anywhere in the world? It's called open innovation. And you only pay those people when you take their product and license it from them. What a great business model for them. They have all these ideas coming in, and the ones they do take, they pay a royalty. So it's a way to source from the crowd ideas. It's called open innovation, and it's really sweeping every industry. When I first started doing this quite a few years ago, it was very popular in the toy industry, or maybe even in the novelty gift industry. But now it's everywhere. So open innovation, that business model is expanding, it's growing, it's outpacing traditional R&D, it's outpacing crowdfunding, Kickstarter, all that stuff. The way that companies are looking for those new ideas is opening the doors to work for people like us. The benefits of licensing. Speed, I talked about that just a minute ago, and I talk about it now. It's fast. If a company's already got the shelf space, they got the manufacturing, they got the marketing, they got distribution. You know, within a year, you show them an idea, they can take it, and you're on the shelf in a year. Imagine if you had to do this by yourself and raise all that money, right? You have to bootstrap it. You get one distributor, maybe another one, another store. You can build upon it, but it's going to take a long time. If you license it to a company that's got great distribution, boom, you're in stores fast. Not only is it great for you, to me, it's the best protection you can have today. It's licensing to a company that's got great distribution. Sell first, sell fast. That's what I love about licensing. There it is again. I've got ahead of myself. It's the fastest way to get a product to market, but it's your best protection. Low cost. There's no risk. I'm going to show you how to do this without spending a lot of money. And that's really, for me, learning what I learned selling things on the street corners. It's really simple. I have to be able to test an idea really quickly. And I have to be able to test it in such a way to see if I want to work on it a little bit more. And the best way to do that, I'm going to show you. So from a cost standpoint, you need to become an idea factory. How to come up with a lot of ideas. And we'll talk about that, because if you can generate a lot of ideas, show them those companies, your chances of success just go through the rooftop. All right, anybody can do it. Doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter. The thing I like about it, it breaks down the barriers. There's no barriers when it comes to licensing. You don't have to have experience. In most situations, you don't even have to have a patent. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But what I really like about it is for people like us that just want to be creative and not do all the heavy lifting. Oh, yeah, there it is. Removes all the barriers. The traditional barriers that we just saw was raising the money, right? Writing a business plan, doing the marketing, doing the distribution. Those are barriers for most people, right? But for licensing, the barriers just went out the doors. In fact, sometimes you don't even need a prototype. You don't even need a patent, but you do need a good idea. We'll talk about that. 10 steps. I'm going to go through these 10 steps pretty quick. The 10 steps, I've written about it. You can find it in my books. One's called One Simple Idea. You can find the 10 steps there. I've written 1,000 articles on this topic. If you can believe it, you can find it in Forbes, Inc. and Entrepreneur. So these 10 steps I'm going to go through, I'll go through them fairly fast, but you can find them other places. Okay, but here's the big one. Now, when I first started teaching licensing, one of my students became famous. His name is Tim Ferriss. He wrote the 4-Hour Work Week. And he went to one of my classes and he went, Steve, you hacked the system. You figured it out. You made it so any of us can do it. And I didn't understand what Tim was talking about. What do you mean hack the system? I was just trying to find a way for me to be successful at this. And what I realized, the best way of doing this is selling the benefit first, not the prototype, not the patent, not starting a business, but the benefit of an idea. If I cannot get someone interested in that benefit of that idea, why would I do the rest? And by showing the benefit of an idea, you can do it really easy to do that. And it doesn't require a lot of tools. And you don't even have to be a salesperson, but I'm going to show you how to do it in just a minute. Yeah, there it is. The process of selling the benefit first is going to allow you to test a lot of ideas really fast and see where the interest is. And once you get interest, then focus on that. So now you've just increased your chances of success tremendously. So if I have one idea, all right, maybe yes. But what if I have 50 ideas? I just increased my chances of trying to license those ideas and bring them to market. Now, licensing allows you to test a lot of ideas very, very quickly. All right, step number 1, study the marketplace. Now, this is so easy. You can do it tonight. When you get home after this lecture, you can do it tonight. Go on the internet, do a Google shopping search or a Google image search and see if your idea is out there. If you have an idea for a new basketball game or a new whatever, new kitchen gadget, go on the internet and see if it's there. And do a Google image search, do a Google shopping search, and within a couple of hours, you can study a whole micro category. That's what's amazing about you studying an area today from home. You don't even have to go down to a store. I can look at if I've got a new hammer innovation, I can look at every hammer that sells in the world in a couple hours. So I know if I have a product that's different than the rest. I can tell if I have a point of difference. Do I have an idea that's new? That's what I'm trying to do. The next thing you could do is go to the USPTO. Let's bypass that. Let's make it even easier. Go to Google Patents. Now you can go to the USPTO and search for patents, prior patents. A little bit more complicated. You still can do that, but go to Google Patents and start searching around certain words and see if you find your idea. Now, what you're trying to do is to say, hey, do I have a new and novel idea? That's all you're trying to do, to see if you take the next step. Now, realize when you look at prior patents, if you've never done it before, you could take a class at the USPTO, you could watch a YouTube demonstration on how to do that. But what's going to happen is you're going to find something similar to your idea. In fact, you're going to find a lot of prior art. That's what it's called. But don't let that stop you. Make sure yours is different. And that's the goal of step number 1. I see Russ. What is Russ saying? How you doing, Russ? I'm glad you're there. Okay, step number 2, invent for the marketplace. Okay, I know a lot of inventors, a lot of creative people. You've got this great idea and you think that people might want it, but there's another way of doing this. It's the way I do it. I would look at a product line, let's say Nerf indoor basketball games, and I'd go on the internet and look at all the Nerf indoor basketball games. And for me, instead of trying to just come up with one, I'd study what other people are doing. And I know that they're going to come up with something new. I just want to come up with something new before they do. So I play games, and I'll talk about those games in just a minute. But what I try to do is design for those companies. I don't wait for inspiration to hit. I don't do that. I take a faster path by really looking at their product line and start playing games and coming up with small changes, not big changes, small changes. Small changes are easy for them to take. There's less risk. Because when you look at their idea and make a small improvement, that product is already selling. There's no risk. But what you're doing is adding more value. That's the way I do it. And it's really easy to do it that way. But most inventors, what they do, they see a problem they have and they think other people might have it too. That's a little bit harder to do. But I do it by studying the marketplace and let the market tell me what's missing. So how to create for the marketplace, you can do it a couple different ways. Make an improvement on an existing idea. That's what I do. And that's, to me, is the easiest thing to do. When I came up with the Michael Jordan wall ball, instead of a backboard of an indoor Nerf game being square, I put the picture of Michael Jordan on the back. Now it's in the shape of Michael Jordan. What a small little change. That change was so remarkable to that company. They licensed it. It sold for over 10 years. The first year was $100,000 in royalties. On that simple change, it was like, you got to be kidding me. But they were selling the backboards now with a little picture of Michael Jordan. And all they did was blow them up to really use the value of that license that they had of Michael Jordan. So I like to make it an improvement on an existing idea. A lot of you out there is going to have a problem that you're going to see. Hey, I've got this problem I see every day. I think other people might enjoy it. If I make a change and make their life a little easier. You can also look for sleeping dinosaurs. I love that. It's looking for sleeping dinosaurs. And I'll give you an example. Guitar picks. They're kind of in one shape. They haven't really changed. And I looked at that and thought, well, why not change the shape? Now, I love just making simple changes. And what I thought, I went down to Hot Topic and I noticed that they had all these skulls everywhere. And one of the skulls, the chin looked like a tip of a guitar pick. So I changed the shape of a guitar pick because I thought guitar picks were like a sleeping dinosaurs. No one's done anything different. So by making that simple change, we sold tens of millions of guitar picks. I called them grave picker, and they were just in the shape of a skull. Sleeping dinosaurs could be anything from coat hangers. They could be anything that people are using just every day, but they've never changed it. Those are what I call sleeping dinosaurs. And you could think about doing things different and better. Okay. That creative process I really do like. Oops, what is that there? How can I get rid of that? I got it. Okay, the games to be creative. All right. I'm going to go through these really quick. I like these games. Now, the first one is called mix and match, taking two ideas, bringing them together to create something brand new. For instance, this is a screwdriver with the light on it. Wow, they took a light, screwdriver, put them together. Now I can work in a dark space. That's called mix and match. And for fun, go down to a store, go down an aisle, walk down an aisle, look at all the products, and go down another aisle and try to bring them all together to create something brand new. Have fun with it. You never know when magic appears when you're having fun. And you'll see a lot of products that use the mix and match. Oh, this is called a aerobie. What if someone thought, well, how do I throw a Frisbee, a football field? And sure enough, that inventor came up with the aerobie. I love this one the best. This is called Zip It. And this gentleman, Gene Loma, noticed that how to get the hair out of a sink, and it clogs up. And if you got a couple daughters, which I do, it clogs up all the time. And so he just took a little piece of plastic, cut a little barb, little hooks in it, put it in there and pull the hair out. Wow, solve it. What a great, solve that problem without putting chemicals in there. And what's really great about this little product, he sold millions and millions and millions of this product, still sells today. It's called Zip It. I think it retails for $2.39. I love this. It's so simple, but it works. And he solved that problem with a piece of plastic. You got to be kidding me. All right. So what I like about coming up with these steps is that anybody can do this right here. Here's, yeah, look at these 3 products here. I love it. This gentleman here did push and hang. That's where you put the nails in. He just puts the nails in the walls for you when you hang a picture. You don't even need someone to hold it. You know, if you've ever put a picture up on the wall, you know you need someone to hold it. You need a hammer. You put everything in there. You snap it. You press the 2 the green little handles here, and it puts the nails in every single time perfectly. The product I like the best is the glide mats, these red little mats down here. Now this sells on QVC. Michelle Morrison came up with this great idea. They sell out every time on QVC. Now, what is it? It's a computer mouse pad, but it's a big one for heavy equipment on your counter. So when you put it on there, you can slide those heavy equipment around. Now, does it get any simpler than this? I don't think it does. She's doing extremely well with this. And this other one here is called the Great Plate. This is a plate that holds a cup in the middle of it. All right, and this gentleman here has been on QVC, Rick, so many times. He sells out all the time. Are these difficult ideas? No, not so much, but they do extremely well in the marketplace. Prototype your idea. Now, I like building prototypes. I think everybody does, but everybody should know when you build a prototype, it does take time and it can be expensive, but you don't have to build prototypes anymore when you're trying to license an idea at first. This is a 3D computer generated model. This does not exist. This is fake. I like that. I like that I can have someone do this for me to show what my product could look like. It's called a works like 3D prototype. And what I really like about it, I don't even know if it's going to work. Now, engineers are listening to this tonight. They're going, Steve, you're killing us with this. We went to school for how many years to do every little detail? I'm talking about selling the benefits first. And so part of this is building a prototype. If you like building prototypes, they're easy for you to do, but absolutely build one, play with it, have fun. But realize it's just one step. And also what I do like is that you can have someone build these 3D computer generated samples for you. And so now you've just by-stepped another step of even building a prototype, which can be very expensive and time consuming. Now, do I know it's going to work? No. Is that a problem? No. If there's interest, I'll figure it out. Pretty simple. Okay. Step number 5. This is really interesting because I talked about selling the benefit, right? And if you can come up with the one-line benefit statement, I call it the one-line benefit statement. If you could take your idea and condense the benefit in one sentence that's so juicy, that's so intriguing that companies say, I want to know more. That's powerful. When Steve Jobs did the iPod, his one-line benefit statement was 1,000 songs in your pocket. He didn't say how to do it. He didn't talk about the technology. He just says, how would you like to have 1,000 songs in your pocket? And of course, at that time, yes, that was like incredible. So that capturing that big benefit is such a great tool. And we're not thinking that way. Like the fishbone, that's a packaging innovation that eliminates the plastic rings. There you go. Talk about the big benefits. What are you solving? If you can do that, then you can call a company up without even showing your idea. Hey, how would you like to have a hammer that allows me to work twice as hard, get more of the job done faster so I can watch football on Sunday? Would you like to see it? Then maybe you show it to them. The power of a one-line benefit statement is huge. You have to learn how to condense the benefit of your idea into one juicy sentence. Step number 6. Now, we had talked a little bit earlier when I was here about being a salesperson. And I tell everybody, you don't need to be a salesperson when you're licensing an idea. What's really important is producing a one-page advertisement. That's what it is. And as you can see here, we call it a sell sheet. And this is what this is. It's a one-page ad for your product. Now, what's really great about this doesn't exist. This is not real. This is a 3D computer-generated sample. So nothing about this is real. It's just a concept. It's just an idea. but you can show your product with a sell sheet. Great marketing material. There's the one-line benefit statement at the very top. You see it right there. It shows these are the steps, 1, 2, 3. This is how you do it. That's your marketing piece. You don't have to be a salesperson, but that sell sheet needs to sell for you. Anybody can do this. This is not difficult to do. And it's powerful. Now, what else is also powerful, if you do have a prototype or even a 3D computer generated sample, show a video, a 1-minute video, show a problem and a solution. Show the problem for 45 seconds, then show that solution for show the problem for 15, solution for 45. Very quick. Don't bore anybody. The problem, I'm struggling. I've got a problem. I got this frown on my look. I do it, it's black and white. Then here's my solution. It's in color. You got music behind it. Everything is great because I figured it out. That format you can see just about anywhere if you go online. Those products you see online late at night, as seen on TV, that format. Go to Telebrands or go to All-Star Innovations and look at those 1-minute videos. They're powerful, and you can do those with your iPhone too. It's not hard to do. Yeah. Okay. So we talked about the one-line benefit statement. You got to have that at the very top. You want to grab someone's attention within a second. This is what my product does. This is what people would care. You do the marketing material, which is a 1-page advertisement, maybe a little embedded, a little video, 1 minute. This is how it works. Now, how do you protect an idea? Now, I know a lot of people are scared that people are going to steal their ideas. Well, I'm here to tell you the best protection is find a company that has embraced open innovation. There you go. I said it. It's easy. Is it about patents? No, not really. It's about companies that want to work with us. That's the best protection. And you can ask them. I'll get to that in just a minute. But I want you to learn how to file a provisional patent application. And you can do it yourself for about $70. There's software. You can go on YouTube and learn how to do it. But if you learn how to write a provisional patent application, it gives you patent pending status for 1 year. And that gives you kind of ownership to reach out to companies. So it's easy to do. It's fun to do. The first time you do it, you're going to go, Steve, this is terrible. Why are you telling me to do this by myself? But you're going to learn that if you do it correctly, how much power it has. If you add workarounds or variations, I tell everybody, take your idea and then steal it from yourself. How would someone work around my idea? And include that in there. If you have some manufacturing techniques, put that in your provisional patent application too. If you know what materials, learn to add value to what you're adding to that provisional patent application. Do a lot of drawings. This is how it's done. Do all these drawings. So when someone sees it, it has value now because you've thought about how to manufacture it. You thought about all the different variations. You thought about the material, and you put it together with all these drawings. Now your PPA, provisional patent application, has value to your licensee. That's the company you're going to show it to. And I think it has it's such a powerful tool. Everybody needs to learn how to do it. All right, gotta get rid of that thing, huh? There's software that you can use. The software that I like to use, and we had designed for us, it's called Smart IP. It was created by Gene Quinn. He's a law professor and a patent attorney, and he's done such a wonderful job because he understands those issues about workarounds and variations, and he asks all these questions. And once you do it, you fill it out, you've got something of some value. If you don't want to do it, hire a patent attorney, hire a patent agent. They'll do it, but make sure you give them all that information we just talked about. Make sure you show them the workarounds, the variations. Maybe you built a prototype. Maybe you give them your marketing material. Give them everything you need so he knows your point of difference. He knows the prototype, how it works. He knows a little bit about manufacturing. You've given him everything for him now to file a provisional patent application that really has value. All right. Include drawings. You know, when you get a package in the mail and it says, you think you bought something, now you got to build it. Those instructions, that's kind of like a PPA. I love those drawings with all those little line drawings because it says, do this, do this, do this, do this. If you add those drawings in your provisional patent application, and even if you miss something in the description, and if you have a drawing, you're okay. Have a lot of drawings. Drawings are worth 1,000 words. Very important. Let's see, what else? Steal it from yourself. I talked about that already. Okay, step number 8. How do you get a hold of companies? People ask me all the time, what companies do I reach out to and how do I get a hold of them? Okay, the companies you're going to reach out to, go down to the store where you think your product's going to sell. Just walk on down there. It could be Target, it could be Lowe's, it could be Home Depot. Go down there, find that exact shelf where your product's going to be. Take your camera out, take a picture of it, turn those packages around, take a picture at the back. Those are your potential licensees. Simple to do. Now, how do you reach them? You go to LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, it's like not having a phone. It's like not even having a car today. You have to get on LinkedIn, fill it out. We talk a lot about LinkedIn today. LinkedIn has just tore down the doors of gatekeepers. You can get to any company anytime you want to, anywhere in the world. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, does not matter. If you approach them correctly, ask them if they embrace open innovation, anybody can play this game now because there's no gatekeepers in front of you anymore. Those are gone, but you have to learn to do it correctly. Okay. I put up a kind of sample script and you can find all these too. This is another book I have out. Can't see it, that's okay. It's called Licensing Ideas Using LinkedIn. If you're really serious about this and you want to know how to approach companies correctly, get the book. It's really simple. But here's a simple script. Hi, my name is Stephen Key. I'm a product developer. Does your company take outside product submissions for new ideas? There it is. Do you work with us? They might say no. They might say yes. And you might go on and say, look, I have a product in a category that I would like to submit to your company. Would you happen to know the correct person for me to reach out to? Thank you for your time. You haven't pitched. You haven't told them you have the greatest idea on the planet. You haven't done all those things that they see all the time, and that's a red flag. You're asking them, look, do you work with us? That's all it really is. So you could do that anytime you want to any company. Who do you reach out to? Someone in marketing and someone in sales, right? It could be new business. It could be new product development. Depends on the company. But the bottom line is this. Put together a LinkedIn profile. Make sure you complete it out. Have a nice picture of you, nice little background. Fill it all out. And then start going to those companies and start making a connection. And once they connect with you, send them a nice little email. Don't ever pitch. Ask for permission. They like that. Here's another one. Hi, my name is Stephen Key. I'm a product developer. I would like to submit a new concept to your company for a review. Do you know who handles open innovation submissions? Not pitching. I'm just asking for permission to who can I send it to? And here's the third one. I'm a product developer from Merced, California. Hey, you know what's even great? If you're a student, that's even better. Tell them, hey, I'm a student, engineering business. I'm at UC Merced. I've got a great idea. I want to submit it to your company. Do you work with outside product developers? They will treat you even better because they know you're a student. And leverage that. It's okay. And they probably think, God, this is a young person. He's probably got great ideas. He's probably seeing things different than we are seeing things different. So it has value. Yeah. If you want more scripts, you can get the book Licensing Ideas Using LinkedIn. There it is right there. Okay. Step number 9, negotiating a licensing agreement. Ugh, you can't do this by yourself. All right, I'm gonna say it there. Don't do it by yourself. Always have someone to help you. And you're gonna need 2 different people. You're gonna need a licensing attorney, and you're gonna need someone that really knows the business terms. And if you know someone that knows the business terms, they can help you ask for the right royalty rate and ask for certain things to get the ball rolling. And then at the very end, always have a licensing attorney to come in to make sure everything looks good. Most of the companies that work with us inventors have done this so many times. They have a boilerplate licensing agreement that's pretty fair and balanced. Sometimes they come over and they are ugly. You're like, this is terrible. What did they just say? This is not fair, but it's a boilerplate. But if you have the right team you can negotiate to make it fair and balanced. But it does take time and experience, and I would never recommend anybody to do it by themselves. Everybody's always curious about royalty rates. Steve, tell me about royalty rates. I want the highest royalty rate. What's the biggest royalty rate? Really, when people ask that, I want to tell them, look, at the very beginning of negotiations, you don't talk about the royalty rate because there's all these other things that will impact that royalty rate. So you just can't pull one thing out of a contract and negotiate that. You have to look at the whole contract. An average royalty rate is about 5%. That's pretty standard. Could be 3, could be 7. It's pretty standard. All right. But you just don't go in asking for that right away. That sends a signal to them you might be hard to work with. Here's the other thing too. Companies, not only are they interviewing your idea, they're interviewing you, right? And they want to make sure they can bring you into the company. They want to make sure that when they bring you in, you're not going to embarrass them. So you really have to learn a little bit about this licensing process. So you're part of their team, you're workable, you're reasonable. You give them no reason to walk away or work around you. You're part of their team, and you do that with a little bit of experience, and it's not hard to do, but it does take a little bit of time. Minimum guarantees. How many contracts have I seen where people sign a licensing agreement and there's no performance? That means the company doesn't have to do anything with it, and it will sit there. Doesn't mean if they sell 1 or 10, they own it. So you need to have some type of performance guarantee in there to give them some time to sell it. But if they don't sell X amount, you get it back because you're really renting your idea to them. You're not selling it, you're renting. And if they're not paying rent, take it back. Exclusivity, everybody wants to own it forever. And you want them to. So that's actually a good thing. Step number 10. Wow. This is a numbers game. I tell everybody, you need to be an idea factory. And the best way to do that is really look at a company's website, look at their product line, and keep submitting ideas to them. Even when they tell you no, when someone tells you no, you're that close to a yes. If someone tells you no, you know you're in the game. If someone tells you no, you will become successful. Be a no collector. Get as many no's as you can because you learn from those no's. And if you don't stop, they start to give you feedback, right? Hey, thanks for this other, it's not quite right for us. You might say, hey, what are you kind of looking for? And then they might give you their wish list, right? Because if you keep on coming back, they know you're investing your time in them. And then they'll start to invest their time in you. So it takes a little bit. You're going to get beat up. You're going to get bruised. You're going to be like, you got to be kidding me. But if you don't spend a lot of money, you file a PPA, you make a sell sheet, you got very little invested. So you can keep pushing those ideas out, push them out, push them out, push them out. And if they take one, then the door opens because now you just can keep on feeding them more ideas. Do you need a lot of companies to work with? No. Stay in 2 industries. It's what you know and who you know. Stay in those 2 industries that when you reach out to a company, you got the right guy. You got it. You earned it. That's my connection now. I'm going to keep feeding them. So now it's who you know. You got them. It's what you know. You stayed in it long enough that you know the industry. You know it's been done before. You've been rejected. You keep on coming up with new ideas. That's how you win at this. A lot of inventors jump around. They just jump to one industry to the next, and they throw their ideas against the wall to see if they stick. Study it, be a pro, be a professional, and these guys will really appreciate it. The one thing these companies have told me over time, it takes a team. They want you. They want you to be part of our team. And we need to talk back and forth. I need to give you feedback so you come back again. It's very important to them. Okay, categories, the ideas. Everybody says, well, Steve, what categories can I license ideas in? There's the toys. We see a lot of ideas, of course. This is one of the earliest industries to work with outside inventors is the toy industry, pets, kitchen, hardware, medical, automotive, novelty, hospitality, baby. It goes on and on and on. What company doesn't want a good idea? Tell me which one that doesn't want an idea. There might be big companies. I want to say this too. The biggest companies, the ones we really want, don't license much. Too much. They don't have to take the risk. They let the small guy do it, a mid-sized guy. Go after the mid-sized guy, not the smallest, but the mid-sized guy, because they want to be the big guy. They're looking for ideas. They need ideas. They love us. The big guys, no risk. So, but I know we always chase them. I chase them too, because you never know, but they don't like so much. Packaging, I already talked about that. What are we doing with time, real quick? I went through it really fast. Oh, so we're good on time. Okay, good. I highly recommend, if you're really serious about this, pick up my book, One Simple Idea. It's been written by McGraw-Hill. It's been selling for over a decade. It's been translated in 5 different languages. It's the foundation of licensing. And what I like about it, it tells a simple story. And it tells about those 10 steps I just talked about. And you can pick that up on Amazon. Yeah, let's see. How do I get rid of that little thing there? There we go again. All those questions. Good. We'll get to all those. Okay. As I mentioned before, if you want more information, you can read my Forbes. In fact, I had a Forbes article that just launched today or yesterday. I write for Inc. and Entrepreneur, but I also have a YouTube channel called InventRight TV, which has over 700 videos on how to do this. 700. They're about 10 minutes long. They're fun. They're like potato chips. Once you watch one, you want to watch another one. So go over there, watch it, enjoy it, have a blast. All that information is absolutely free. And I think now we're ready for questions. Good timing. How did I figure that out? Sure. Why don't we talk about my friend Russ? Does he got a good one in there somewhere? Yep.
There's a lot of questions, but you answered them throughout.
Good. Good.
Oh, is the book One Simple Idea available on Kindle?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. And make sure you get the latest one. It's the one that's expanded and revised. And I think what's really nice about that book, it's a simple read, but it really tells the story of the 10 steps quite well. That, along with the YouTube channel, we had someone that read the book and watched the channel, and now he's in Cairo, Egypt, and his product sells all around the world. And he contacted me and goes, holy cow, it works. So we have, if you go to my website, inventright.com, in a couple of weeks, you're going to see a brand new website. But if you go there now, you can see all the products that my students have licensed, and there's a full range of them. It's cool to see.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a lot of questions to choose from.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I love it. Okay, I love this stealing. Okay. Okay, 2 questions here. Let's talk about stealing for just a minute, because I see this all the time. And you might read a story about one person or watch a movie, and you're thinking everybody's out to get you. And that's just not true. The companies that embrace open innovation, they realize if they steal it from you, the door closes. It's really quite simple. Now they're going to pay you a royalty. Okay, that's not the end of the world. But if today, if a company steals your idea, 2 things happen. The door is closed. And number 2, can you imagine being in a company and going, hey, this is a great idea. Why don't we steal it? How will that go over? What about social media today? You see, that's the biggest thing that's happening today. If a company does something that's not appropriate, people complain, they write reviews. We have a huge voice today that we need to use. That, people say, well, I'm just going to sue them. Well, you have to realize that takes a lot of money and time. It doesn't work very well. Your power today is your voice on social media. So when you file a PPA, you got patent pending, build an army of raging fans. Be part of the community. Connect with me on LinkedIn and join our community, because we can kind of police it. companies don't like us poking them. Can you imagine if you're a big company, you spend tens of millions of dollars on your brand, and then someone starts poking you on social media? It's a bad thing, or writing bad reviews. So I don't think companies steal ideas. Now, there are some companies that have a track record that they don't play fair. And that is changing because they're getting called on the carpet too. So find the companies that have a track record of working with us. You can see it, ask them. And if they don't, here's a red flag. If they're not on social media, don't submit to those companies. Simple. If they don't have successes and they don't talk about working with inventors, avoid them. If they're the biggest company on the planet, avoid them too. Find the companies that are actively talking about their relationship with us. That's your best protection today. All right, so that's a simple question. I get that all the time. Why don't we just take it? Most of the ideas that we see get licensed today, and we see a ton of them, we probably see more products get licensed than any company in the world today. There's no patent. People are like, Steve, what do you mean there's no patent? Well, a lot of products go in and out of the market so fast before the patent even issues. And because it's so hard to stop people, what are you going to sue everybody? It makes no sense. You want to be first. You want good customer service. You want to have a network of people, right? It's all about good business. So don't worry about, my idea is going to be stolen. And don't let that fear stop you. The next question is about the flat rate of a royalty, right? Okay. First of all, no company's just going to buy your patent. I hear that all the time. Oh, I got this patent, I just want to sell it. No company's ever going to buy it. Why is that? Well, why buy it when I haven't sold one of them? Why buy it? Because it's too much risk. Why don't we license it from you? Maybe we'll buy it later, but why would we do that? They'd rather pay as you go. It's less risk for them. And the other question, what about a flat rate? Someone asks about a flat rate. Of course you can do a flat rate, right? Figure out, it could be 1%, 5%, or maybe it's just a flat rate of $1 per unit. That's even better sometimes. So yes, it can be done both ways. All right, what else we got? Okay, oh, COVID. Okay, let's talk about COVID. What's the other one? Oh. All right, those are great questions. Let's talk about software first. Forget it. I hate to tell everybody that industry, the tech industry, I mean, try to phone someone at Facebook. Has anybody ever tried to call Facebook? There's no telephone number there. How do you get a hold of any of those guys? They have a track record of, I'm not going to say stealing, I'm going to say they borrow. They have a track record, they borrow from each other. Things change so quickly. So does that make a great environment for open innovation? Not so much. So if you've got the new latest app, licensing might be difficult. You might have to start a business, sell a ton of them, then sell it and license it. Yes, but this model doesn't work that great in the tech industry. Okay, so just get that off the table. The other question was, let's talk about COVID for a minute. People ask me all the time, are companies still looking for ideas during COVID? Yes, they are. Here's the issue though. Companies know if they don't innovate, they die. They're going to come out with something new, but they have a couple problems right now in a minute. They have supply chain issues. So what do you have to do as an inventor? Well, be patient and make sure your product is on the top of the pile. And how do you do that? Well, be polite, put it on top. Design products that are not wants, but needs. Okay, I'll give you an example. When COVID first hit, all the pet industry went on fire, but not all products sold. The products that sold were things with picking up, dog poo, those type of things that were needed. Always look for products that are needed more than wants in times that are difficult. Those will always be selling well. The COVID has created great industries. The toy industry was on fire. Do-it-yourself is on fire. Home improvement's on fire. Gardening's on fire because people were staying home. Those industries exploded. Find companies that have an online presence. Absolutely. Those companies are doing well in case that comes back. Those retailers shut down. But also look at creating things that don't require a lot of tooling, things that can be made maybe outside China, maybe they're fabric, they can be in other locations. Try to design for every situation that you're always in. So our companies Are they still want ideas? Yes, we see ideas get licensed all the time, but it takes a little bit longer now because they can't even get the products they have now. They don't have the trucking, the boats are out in the water. They can't even get into the docks to unload it. They have a little bit of an issue, but they will be there. You have to be patient. And then the other question was, those are great questions, by the way. Let's see. Can I value? Patrick, I'm not quite sure I understand this, but I'm going to try. Can I value my idea by shopping, negotiating some deals to understand the potential upside? I don't quite understand that. Patrick, please reply back. I can interpret that two ways. If I have a product that's already selling, people ask me that all the time, and can I still license it? Yes, you can, because you can show proven sales. You took away risk. So that's a great way. Another way of taking away risk is showing demand, showing it to an end user, maybe a buyer. Hey, would you like this? They say yes, it's easy to license. Those are ways to take away some risk. That's the only way I know how to interpret that question. So I'm probably have gotten it wrong. I'm trying to build a business, but maybe I should license. Okay, this is great. Steve, why should I license my idea when I can make all the money making it myself? I really love that. And you can make more money, right? But think about this. At the end of the day, if I do everything myself, it's going to take me a little bit of time. There's a lot of financial risk. But at the end of the day, what is my profit margin really? You know, maybe on a good day, maybe 20%, pretty good. You know, somewhere 15. Now I'm getting 5% and I have no risk. I mean, think about it. It's a pretty sweet deal. You know, so you have to look at it. I also tell everybody, if you want to venture, which I've done before and I love it, but realize this, there's a lot of details. It's going to take you longer than you think. It's going to take more money than you think. And it takes experience, right? Just because you have Amazon doesn't mean you should sell on Amazon. Because, you know, being on Amazon today, it's like a needle in a haystack. How do you find you? Good people that run businesses know how to create demand. They know how to leverage social media. They're very good at marketing and they're building the right team. So if you're going to go to venture, make sure whatever you do, build a team of people that have actually done it before. And that's going to help you, at least give you a fighting chance. But if you think I'm just going to put it on Amazon, put some inventory in my back garage, and I'm going to go out there and sort of sell it myself, I'm here to tell you, that's a recipe for disaster. It's just hard to do. We have this one particular person I know that did a crowdfunding campaign, raised $100,000, which is great money. Started his company and he sells he sells millions of dollars online. He's losing money today because he's running ads and those ads are expensive. They're not, you can't maintain that. You have to create demand with marketing. So it's not as easy as it looks just because there's more opportunities to jump in, because there are today. You can jump in so easy today. I don't need much. Doesn't mean you should. If you like the details, if you're really passionate about starting a business and you have the right team, absolutely give it a shot. But realize it's just risky. It's going to take more time, but you need the team. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. All right. Oh. Wow. Okay. All right. This is crazy. Okay. I'll just answer this one.
Okay.
Okay. I make sure I posted a video today on InventRight TV about knockoffs, infringers, and copycats. And the company I brought on was called Red Points. And the reason why I brought them on, Red Points polices the internet for you. And they do that with anti-counterfeiting software. Because he was explaining it to me that over the weekend, there could be 1 billion more products on the market. How can you do that? How can you personally police it yourself? It's impossible. You need someone to help. And that's an organization that's been around for a long time. But if you really want to police it on TikTok, on Amazon, social media, domains, websites, you know, you can spend all the time yourself policing it and try to take them down. And the tools to take them down are fairly easy. Copyrights, trademarks, maybe a design patent, not even a patent. Great tools and you can get them. but you're going to just be chasing those guys all the time, and they're going to pop up someplace else. So consider hiring somebody yourself, spending all the time, or maybe looking to someone like Red Points. That's a great company. And I just interviewed him for InventRight TV. Make sure you watch that video. I think that's going to help her there. Private label, saturate the market. I love this. Yeah, you know, Trisha, it's hard. And if you want to send me another email later at stevenkey@inventright.com, I'll see if I can answer that question for the detail, because we're running out of time, I think. Okay. Wow, that was fun. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Thank you everyone for joining. We will most likely have this video up by tomorrow noon. That is the goal. I believe we put it in the chat where our website is, but for those of you here, it's at innovate.ucmerced.edu. So any workshops that we host, we will also have on there for you to watch later. We have previous speaker series from last year with, I want to say like 10 speakers. So even if you just want to poke around at what we've previously done, there's videos on there from former CEOs and everyone else in entrepreneurship that you can join and kind of still be a part of the conversation. But thank you everyone here, and have a good day.